Is there no time like go time? I'm loving this. Is there no time like go time? I'm loving
What?
this. Hell, what the hell did you... It sounds like there's a battle going on. Hell, what?
All right, we're officially live once again.
Hello again, ladies. Sounds like there's a battle going on.
Hey, how you doing?
So
Been working on this for a while.
we're gonna try this one more time. So before we begin, let me go on the Geeks 5 Ever Facebook page and just just share the link. We are live. It is live. Hopefully the audio sounds a lot better. If this doesn't work, we're just gonna do a regular shitty podcast because this is ridiculous.
That's okay.
We have been at this for a little bit.
We're a new group. Leave me alone. We don't have funding. We don't have San Japan money. I wish we did.
That's San Japan money.
You know, money to just kick whoever we want out of the con. Oh, snap.
Ooh,
Anyways,
shot fired.
all right. So let's go ahead and begin. What is up, everyone? This is I almost said my actual name. This is Anime Unrated, and today I'm doing a live. We're redoing our live broadcast. We got my co-host El Chapo. He's eating Burger King in front of me. I'm starving.
You fuck with me, I'll stab you.
Anyways, we also have our co-host. Always, he's a big influence in the cosplay community. He's staff for and he's a volunteer for a lot of the conventions. Please welcome Nick.
Hello.
They can't see you. There's no video. This is all. And with us is our very special guest. I can't believe we got him. We booked him. He's here. You know, he's a big celebrity now. You know, one person's misfortune is another. You know, it also leads to a lot of good things in life. Please introduce yourself, sir, to the folks.
Hello there, Internet. It is me, your friendly neighborhood Old Spice guy of Texas. Good to see you, or good to hear from you.
I don't know about that whole old friendly, man, because first off, you don't live in my neighborhood.
I'm in everyone's neighborhood.
Oh, this is true.
Beyond.
I don't know, man. My neighborhood's filled with Mexicans, so where are my friends?
What's happening to this freaking podcast?
Hey, man, this is a broadcast. Hey, where's my fries? Did you eat them? You sack of shit. No, they're right here.
Oh, we've degenerated.
Sorry, the first time we tried this, I didn't have food and I was starving. Now I have food and I'm not as hungry. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna try this all over again because I deleted the original video because you couldn't hear shit. So, Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became a co-host of Geeks 5 Ever.
Whoa, I'm on the spot now.
That's right, you're on the spot.
We didn't do this on the first run through. We were just kind of asking questions, you know, to our generous guest who has been with us for hours now.
Hello there.
If I remember correctly, you just sort of invited me one day for an interview. I think you're actually talking to me about something, and then it's like, hey, you want to join? I said, sure, why not?
I think we were doing a shit talk.
We met because you wanted me to... Oh, no, we were at Matsuri, right? You were one of my volunteers.
I mean, no, not how we met. How did you become a part of Geeks 5 Ever?
Wasn't it just straight up, yeah, I came to help out with an interview. It's like, hey, you want to join us? We're just talking about this
Yeah,
stuff.
hey, man, you want to talk shit on
sure.
this podcast? Where's the mic?
Yeah. It wasn't official, I guess, until maybe Delta. That's when I started really getting more into it. Joined you on your panels and everything. Tried to help out with stuff. So yeah, all right, yeah, add me to a group. That'll be fun.
Cool. Mr. Chris BONNETT.
Oh, yes, hello.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know who you are because you are known as the Old Spice guy of Texas.
Yeah.
But please tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, of course, besides my first and last name, which is Chris Bonet, if you will, I'm more of an inspiring actor. I do go to school at, of course, the San Antonio Art Institute, so I go there for, of course, more of my acting classes. That's what I usually do normally, besides going to conventions and stuff. I also work at Amazon, so I have that going on for me as well.
Oh shit!
As
What
right
up?
now, I. Hmm?
Oh shit! Hook it up, man.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Oh yeah, you looking for that 2-day shipping? I got you.
I could send you something if you want to get into the indie film scene.
Yeah, Oh, really? I could look into that, probably, definitely. Especially after all the, chaos. I would say it's more of a good chaos than it is more than anything else that has been happening within the past, 5 days that it's been.
Well, that's the whole point of
So
That's the whole point of Geeks Five Ever, because here at Geeks Five Ever, we're not trying to become famous ourselves. We're here to raise awareness in the community. We're trying to help others gain awareness. We're trying to acknowledge all the problems that are in the cosplaying community, and we cover everything that people can geek out over. That's why we have wrestling fans, anime fans, comic book fans, gaming fans, tabletop gaming. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And I apologize for the noise in the background. I'm at my friend's house and they're playing video games and cussing at the same time. But you know what? This broadcast is intended for mature audiences only.
Don't
if
lie.
only there was video, we could totally prove onto that.
So tell us, how long have you been cosplaying? Not as the Old Spice guy, but in total, how many years have you been cosplaying?
Let's see. I think it's been about, like I said, since 2004. So it's been quite a long time since I've been constantly cosplaying. I checked in every now and then when I was younger on that. When I started at San Japan 4, I believe, that's when I fully committed myself to actually starting to cosplay. And I believe, let's see, San Japan 4 was a little while back from that. From that point, it was just kind of I go to a convention for a day and I check it out and I buy a few things every now and then. And then I thought to myself, should actually start to get into this whole entire situation. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with it. Once I actually got into it and started having fun with every single con goer that wins, I soon enough just found it a part of my life.
Wow, dude, you've been cosplaying longer than I have.
That's what I said earlier, yeah. It's been cosplaying a long time.
I thought I've been cosplaying for a long time, since 2007, man. I'm like, oh man, I'm so old. I'm a dinosaur. I remember when cassettes and floppy disks were a thing. You said 2004, and all of a sudden I was like Pac-Man.
What?
So how long have you been cosplaying the Old Spice guy of Texas?
Oh, of Texas. Let's see. The Old Spice guy of Texas did originate in San Japan 5. And let's see, the story of that goes as follows. I remember once in that year, which I'm not sure which year that was, but I do know with San Japan 5, we moved to the Grand Hyatt. So once we got started on that, it was just kind of the first time that I was there. After that Friday, I stopped at around 6 o'clock, decided to go to the Hyatt pool that they had. So me and my cameraman who went with me that year, Demetrius, goes, and we decide to just go around and just kind of hang out at the pool for a bit. We head back to the elevator that they had, and I put on a towel because, of course, why would you not need a towel? And we get there, there's about 6 girls in the elevator, and one of them has the brilliant idea to say, "Aren't you the Old Spice guy?" And from that comment there, I ran with it, and I became the Old Spice guy of Texas. And it just happened. Just on a whim, somebody made something amazing, and there was nothing I could do onto that.
But isn't that how a lot of these cosplays happen? A lot of these cosplays just happen on accident.
Oh yeah. The most amazing cosplays just happen on a whim, because somebody would say something like, "Hey, I like that idea that you have with that hair. You should do that character." And somebody would be like, "You know what? I will." And from that point, they just go off and they become a giant, amazing cosplay god or goddess, if you will.
Okay, well let's go back we already tried this once before, and I feel stupid for asking the same question again. We're gonna go ahead and ask you that one question the one fan asked me via Messenger. They sent me a question. What are your top 5? Okay, before we ask them this question, if you have any questions, the people that are watching, the 3 people that are watching,
Or no.
or more, who knows? Because that thing doesn't have an accurate number. For the people that are watching, if you have a question at all during this broadcast, feel free to comment below, and we will ask that question. No questions asked. Wait.
Questions on your questions.
We will not ask questions about your question, but we will ask the question to the questioner.
Oh my God! Ask the questions already.
All right.
It's a paradox.
So what are your top 5 favorite animes?
See, so of course, number 1 is going to
no
be
Pico.
Code Geass is number 1. That's the top one. Code Geass, I was watching at any point in time, whatever.
And as I said before, I love Code Geass. Awesome anime.
Oh,
So never saw it.
yes. So let's see. Number 2 on that list is going to have to be, let's see. I feel like I know exactly which one it was, but... Oh, no, that's right. It's Mob Psycho 100. I can't get enough of that show as of right now. I literally have started watching episode 9, that I think, and episode 10 is coming out pretty soon. So, if you have seen, of course, One Punch Man, then just go right into that, because it literally is like the next best thing that will hold you over until, if there is a quote-unquote season 2 of One Punch Man. Which One Punch Man is number 4 on that list, but number 3 on that list is going to be, like I said, it's more of a hit and miss kind of anime, but it's Sword Art Online. I gotta watch me some Sword Art Online. Like, once it actually starts, I kind of...
I'm sorry.
By accident, it was just like, well, now I kind of have to watch it, because, like, not only does it, like, make you want to kind of, like, see how well that game, I know it is in production at some point, just make, like, how it goes, but you kind of just want to be, like, you just want to play it. You just want to play it just to see how it feels. Because, like, there was no real rules onto it. They were just all like, hey, this is what's happening. And you're just like, okay, so you just have to kind of learn. And I think number 5 on that list is going to be, well, actually, hold on. But it's just going to be the original Dragon Ball Z. I can watch that all the time. All the time.
Man, I'm going to give you...
And I'm not going to say Dragon Ball Z because Dragon Ball GT is a thing, and we all know how that went down.
Well, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, because I do have a Dragon Ball Z podcast for Geeks 5 Ever.
Correction, fanatic.
Okay, shut up. I'm obsessed. Get it right.
Yeah.
Oh, even Nick can testify. Everyone can testify. I'm obsessed religiously with Dragon Ball. I watched Dragon Ball in English, Japanese. I actually watched it in like 7 or 6 different languages. I watched Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and I'm currently watching Dragon Ball Super.
See, I have to get into Dragon Ball Super because I haven't seen anything on that, and I feel like if I just start now, I'm going to be missing out certain parts. So it's just like, I'll wait out. I'll wait out.
Dragon Ball Super is so much, in my opinion, is so much better than Dragon Ball GT.
Oh, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly on that one. There's just like no way that you can just be all like, hey, yeah, this makes sense. And no, we're good.
No, GT didn't make a lot of sense. And you know what? The reason why I was laughing a minute ago because you said Sword Art Online, and Mr. El Chapo over here said ill.
You said, wait, what?
Oh dear.
El Chapo over here. We call him Mr. El Chapo. He's not really El Chapo, but he said ill when you said Sword Art Online.
What? No. Listen. I don't even care for the fact that there's. How do I put this? How did everybody put this? Well, what is it? There's quote unquote incest in it. No, I don't believe in that.
Whoa! What?
Yeah, like no. We have to discuss this. This is it. This is already there. This is the one question I hear about that whole thing. Like, besides the fact that Sword Art Online is an amazing show as is, like, even though it is, like, it's a giant death game, if you've ever heard of, like, Doc Hackstein, this is basically the better version of that. Like, people call that, like, a masterpiece, and I'm like, no, I don't believe that. Get that out of here. So, the Sword Art Online is basically that, except they fixed the dumb shit that you didn't need. Like, if you look at Neon Genesis Evangelion. If you look at that, it's like a mixture between, of course, Sword Art Online and Dot Hack Sign. That's what that is to me.
I think people said it was a little bit harem-y or something. That was.
Yeah, it's more of a harm, if you will. Yeah, it hits that point, but it's not it's not important for me. I don't even care about that part. What I care about is like how the action goes. That's what keeps me like pulled in. Because
okay, we do have some comments already coming in.
Oh, right.
Okay, so Edgar did comment they never fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, Sword Art Online is great, take that back. He's talking to you.
Oh, he's talking to me?
No, he's talking to my friend who said ill.
Oh, no, sorry. I can't take back anything that I stand believe. I mean, you are entitled to your opinion. Yeah, if you believe it's a great show, awesome. I believe it's a dumb show. So, I mean, to each their own. Let's agree to disagree.
This is true. Honestly, dude, man, I'm more into old school anime. When you talk about old school, I'm talking about like Saint Seiya, Ronin Warriors, Rurouni Kenshin, Fist of the North Star, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z,
Hakusho.
Yu Hakusho. I'm talking about the original Astro Boy.
You know, I feel Yu Yu Hakusho actually should, like, did they not complete Yu Yu Hakusho?
Yes, they did. It did finish, and it had a really good ending, in my opinion.
I feel like I need to go back and, like, fully watch that. Because, like, there's some where I'm like, I saw the ending to it. And then there's some where it's like, hey, we didn't fully Americanize it, so there you go.
No, it's
like,
all completely in English. Funimation even released all 4 seasons on DVD.
That's what I'm doing. It's my day.
And just like all anime, you can, and just like all your favorite anime shows, as you haven't heard, Crunchyroll just signed a deal with Funimation to share their anime property. So you can go to Crunchyroll right now and sign up for a 14-day free trial and check them out. If you don't like it, you can always cancel. And if you love it, you can continue to watch. They'll be getting the newest episodes of Digimon Tri this month, so be sure to check them out.
You sound like an infomercial.
He's
Shut
like
up.
the fullest infomercial.
Shut up. Oh, so Zevin, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Zevin said one of his favorite endings, Yu Yu Hakusho. I do have to agree with him. Yu Yu Hakusho had a really well-written ending.
That's not, see, it does have, like, I haven't seen it yet. Now everybody's saying this has like a great ending.
I don't want to spoil anything for you, but the anime doesn't end the way you think it will.
Ooh, alright, see, now...
we do have some more comments. James has said he'll never say Sailor Moon in that list. I don't know who he's referring to, but he's damn right that I will not say Sailor Moon. I don't personally like Sailor Moon. Nick likes Sailor Moon.
You're hitting home now. You're
I gotta watch me some Sailor Moon. I don't even care.
Prince, Indie Man, you know this.
I'm sorry, but Tuxedo Mask didn't do anything but throw a rose and give a motivational speech.
That's what
Crystal. Well,
that is like, I mean, if you look at it from like another's perspective, if they were the Sailor Boys instead of the Sailor Scouts, you then say some shit like, "Hey boys, you have to do something," and then the Sailor Boys would win, and then there's the rest of the day.
All right, well, Nick, what were you going to say about the Sailor Moon?
You know what? It's fine. I'm going to go back to playing Mystic Messenger and ignoring you guys.
Shout out to Lightsy. She just liked our video. Shout out to her. She was on one of our podcasts previously. We did a podcast about creepers. For those of you that haven't checked out our YouTube channel, you can go right now to youtube.com/geeks5ever. You can check out all of our podcasts, including the ones with Saki Kitty and Lightsy. Now, besides the top 5 animes, do you like comics?
Oh, dude, yes. Do I like comics? I've not checked in with a lot of comics, to be honest. I have a lot of time dedicated to like 17 other things. So when I do get to go to conventions and buy comics, I do have quite a few of them.
Okay, we're going to ask you the biggest. A lot of people are, and the The world is watching, and they are wondering, what is your choice? Marvel or DC?
Oh, it's Marvel. Marvel.
All right, podcast is over.
What? No. What do you mean?
I'm messing with you.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm messing with you. It's cool. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Even if they're wrong.
We're DC fans.
Even if you're horribly wrong.
Actually, Marvel.
Well, okay. I think we got a good sized audience, so we're gonna go ahead and nothing else. Someone shared our video and posted nothing else to watch. Thanks a lot. Oh, Blackie-san,
Let's get to the.
Michael Sanji posts, Sword Art Online is ass. Don't lie, Edgar. Okay, anyways, let's get down to the... Now, before we continue, we invited you to be on this broadcast because of one specific thing. Of the controversy that happened at San Japan. Now, that's why we invited you here, to give your story as to what happened, because a lot of people have been asking questions as to what happened. Now, before we get to what you have to say, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to read the statement that the San Japan, their public relations released to us.
Right.
Okay, now this is not directed towards you. This is the statement they gave publicly, and this is directed towards their dress code policy. So, San Japan strives to create a family-friendly space for all congoers. To do so, we've implemented certain rules regarding dress code expectations. Our safety team works to support that safe environment by enforcing the rules in as consistent as a method as possible. This becomes increasingly challenging as the convention grows and as necessary. The team prioritizes enforcement of other policies that have greater impact on overall safety. Okay, we will review policy based on suggestions and feedback for this year. We are actively recruiting members of the event safety team to ensure a more complete deployment of staff across venues. Anyone interested? Okay, well, now he's just advertising.
All right.
Okay, it is San Japan's policy to not provide specific comment on attendees' specific issues without reviewing and conducting an internal investigation. Please know that all staff involved will be contacted. San Japan did not issue any permanent bans to attendees this year, though several badges were revoked, which is allowed under the terms of use agreed to when accepting a badge.
Oh, they're so businessy.
From the back, okay, well, you can, and if anyone has any questions regarding this policy or any suggestions about the general content or anything at all, you can submit your questions to the community@sanjapan.org.
I see.
Now, see, this statement was given to us before they made it public, and this statement was given to us before everyone started spreading the news that you weren't permanently banned from the convention. Now, we had heard several stories as to what happened, but rumors can be misinterpreted. Some things, a lot of information is false, a lot of it's true. We don't know. We had heard you had been banned from the convention, but we didn't know for sure, so that's why we contacted San Japan. They did say you were never banned from the convention. However, we don't know if that's what actually happened during the incident at the convention. Now, can you tell us a little bit about how that weekend started for you? Like, you were in your Old Spice, the Old Spice cosplay, you're walking around, and at any point did they approach you saying, hey, you need to put on a shirt, or did they just, from the get-go, just give you shit?
Well, they did, of course, let me know that I needed to put on a shirt. That was number one thing. So I was warned onto that, and right from that point, I had always had my shirt on. Now, that being said, as being Old Spice, it does become increasingly difficult in order to keep that shirt on if you have to pose for pictures, because from that point you have to take that shirt immediately back off. And of course, from that point, there are constant people coming up after the people who have already pulled you to the side, and it's like, oh, hey, do you mind if I get a picture? I love your Old Spice. And I'm like, thank you so much, then. So once that picture goes on, another couple of people walk by. They're like, oh my God, it's Old Spice. Let's get a picture. And then from that, it continues to go on. And from that point, I've already got, let's say, 1 to 2 minutes of shirt time on. Now, as the pictures continue to go on and more people do continue to go by and take pictures, that's more time with the shirt off. That being said, safety will most likely see you with the shirt off before they will see you with the shirt on. And then they'll come up and warn you, hey, do you mind putting on a shirt? And the first thing I would say to them is, yes, of course, but first I have to get this picture out of the way. Because, of course, in their rules, they do state you can, in fact, have your shirt off while taking a picture. So from the point of it, it becomes, like I said, more time to having the shirt off to take pictures than it does to, of course, having the shirt on. So as of right now, I do understand, of course, as of why they would, of course, want to. As of right now, I do know it's not a ban from that point. They just revoked the badge, so that's understandable. But with all the things that do have to come with that, you have to understand that with more popularity coming towards Old Spice, the more of a target Old Spice becomes, because, of course, he's not, quote-unquote, following the rules and understanding them, because, of course, his popularity increases.
Well,
that becomes a little more difficult.
How many times were you warned by safety team before they revoked your badge?
About 4 times. I do remember one time they were not on the safety squad. They were actually in cosplay themselves, and they saw me doing a video for Illuminati. And once I had finished that video for Illuminati, I immediately got told to put my shirt on by somebody who was in cosplay who was part of safety. So from that point, I would say 3 official times, 1 unofficial time.
Right. Okay. So,
starts to become a lot real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, you were warned 3 times officially, and at that point, at like around what day, what time did they was the final warning issued?
Well, the final warning was probably on Saturday. I do believe Saturday, because then Sunday, right when I walked into the convention for about a good 25 minutes and decided to leave to go and actually get lunch for that day, I got pulled over to the side by safety. I'm not sure who was with safety at that point in time, but they, of course, told me that they were getting sick and tired of telling me that, of course, to put a shirt on from that point, and then revoked my badge at that point.
And at any point when they revoked your badge, did they tell you you were banned from the convention?
Yes, like right when they told me, we're going to have to ban you, so we're going to need your badge.
Were they like a head staff? Can you tell us? No. Okay. Well, I don't.
Not much I can go off from that point. I do know that he did have glasses from that point, and I think he was sitting at the main desk before you do go into registration. So anyone who was sitting in that area, I do know definitely told me from that point that I was banned, and they said, hey, you could sit around here at any point in time and hang around, but you can't go into the convention, which didn't make much sense to me, because why would you want to be a part of that convention if you're not going to actually be in that convention?
Nick, do you have anything to add? Oh, sorry.
I mean, I wish they would have just told you, hey, you can no longer wear this here, get it out, or you can't come back in. That would have been more simple. I guess. I mean, you had quite a few warnings there. That part does hurt. I understand why, of course, because it's hard to take pictures. Your requires your shirt to be off, which is not a big deal. And I saw pictures of people that were pretty scantily clad at that convention.
We will address that.
Right.
Okay, but I received information. This isn't a. Now, I like to do a lot of research before I do these kind of interviews. Okay, right. So I did receive info from another cosplayer saying that in the policy of San Japan, as long as if you were taking a picture, you were allowed to take off your shirt if it was a shirtless cosplay, but you had
Right.
I'm sorry, you had to put it back on. Now,
Mm-hmm.
So
did
that's
you?
an official statement from their rules.
Right. No, I
Right.
don't know. I have to look it up, but that is some information that was given to me.
Oh no, that is actually confirmed. One of my friends did the research on that, and he posted that statement along to San Japan for their own rules.
Okay, and I understand why you didn't want to fight safety because if you try to argue too much with safety, because at this point it's Sunday, people are exhausted, they don't want to
They
deal
all
with
just,
much.
Okay, I'm confirming it right now. It's the second rule in the dress code. Convention spaces have a no shirt, no shoes, no service policy. Because of this, shirts and shoes must be worn at all times and may only be removed for photographs. So, that being stated, they shouldn't have taken your badge away from you.
Right. They at no point, especially. But here's the thing, though. He's not coming from another con goer. When you're at these conventions, it's Sunday. You don't want to argue with these guys because they're. Believe it or not, a lot of people that are working, volunteering on a Sunday, they're in a bad mood. It's been a long weekend.
Right.
They've had to work their asses off for a free
Yes.
badge. And especially if this guy's a staff member, he's had to put out so many fires. And Nick can testify. There is so much that happens in the back, behind the curtains of a convention that it is baffling. It is mind blowing. A lot of people would crack under this kind of pressure. And now I understand where you didn't want to fight with them, but at the same time, they never should have told you that you were banned from the convention or they were going to try to ban you. And at the same time, they should have allowed you to argue your case to where you could tell them, listen, I understand I wasn't wearing a shirt, but when they issued me the warning, I was taking photographs at the time or I was part of a photo shoot. Because
Right.
it is within it's one of San
Rules.
Japan's rules. And so, I
It
mean,
is getting hard to conventions these days. And I understand the safety reasoning, but it seems a bit biased. And like you said, people get angry at those conventions. Man, I've never had that problem. I've worked a lot of conventions. I've never had that issue. I just got pissed off and started messing with congoers. I've seen volunteers do it. They'll get that little tiny bit of power because there's security now, and then they just run around and act like assholes. And that's kind of what I'm assuming happened in this case.
Yeah, I would assume the same thing on from that point, because there was a point where in San Japan rules, which has happened, I believe, quite a few years ago, where it really hasn't been much of an issue. I've been doing Old Spice Guy since San Japan Mod 5, and of course here we are 9. 4 years later, within those 4 years, I haven't had really much of this kind of issue going on from there. I would think, if anything, it's probably more of the volunteers or staff getting a little more tight-edged, I guess. Just a little more tightening on the bolts of everything,
well,
which
it has to
I'm
do a
fine
lot
with.
with they're growing as a convention at a very
Right.
fast rate.
Yeah.
I was there for
It's
the
one of my
first San
favorite
Japan.
cons, actually.
yes,
one
it's
of
one of
my
my
favorites.
favorite ones.
San Japan has grown at an alarming rate where most conventions can only dream to grow at this level, especially anime conventions, and actually be successful and have not actually lose money after they're done, to actually have a bigger budget that they can go ban. And now Saul, I'm sorry, Luis Dominguez, he was not banned. They were told that he was going to be removed. I'm answering one of the comments that was posted below. He was warned several times to put on a shirt. However, they did not talk. They did not pull him to the side to get his side of the story. So they just revoked his badge, and then told him they were going to ban him. However, they can ban him, but he will not be banned because the fans, your fans, sir, have spoken out. As a matter of fact, there is a hashtag there that was kind of trending. Justice for Old Spice Guy.
Yes.
To have your own
I remember
hashtag.
Yeah. That was good, and they've probably taken note of that, but they'll handle it like any other business probably, and just throw out their little rule book. And I don't know. I disagree with this move on their part. They should have handled it better. Maybe they need to look at their staff and volunteers a little closer.
Were they?
Like I said, I support that con. I like that convention, but this sucked.
Oh, I love
That
San
one-
Japan. I look forward to going back next year, and I look forward to doing more with them. But there
That'd be a
does
dragon.
need to be justice for Old Spice guy. But
Hey, and if you don't get it, Chris, if you don't get it, just go to Dragon Con.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's already like a small group already working for me to get to Dragon Con. So chances are, if the timing is right, I will be more likely at Dragon Con.
And I'm going to ask you a few questions. We want to address some of the rumors that are going around and kind of put them to rest. Because I don't know if you did that with the previous podcast, and I'm pretty sure the other podcasts that you're going to be doing interviews for are going to ask you these same questions. So, one of the questions was that, okay, you're constantly working. You have to save up money. You had to save up a good amount of money. Like, you barely scraped up to save for the convention for a badge and I think maybe a hotel room or something like that. Can you shed some light on that?
Yes, it was a little bit of a difficulty to make sure that I, of course, had the timing to make sure that I got enough money to get to San Japan. Because I did have a hotel room, but after certain things that have happened over the course of about a good month or so, I decided to put in a little bit of extra time more at work. And after paying every single bill off all at the same time, within 1 week, I was surprised that I actually even got about doing that, but I did have enough for the hotel room to stay in from Thursday to Saturday, well, Sunday, technically. And I would say it was a really close call, to be honest. Like, even with the time of me, like, making sure that I actually got out of work in time to actually get the hotel room that was right next to the convention hall. That was a very close call. And I'm glad to everybody who actually had supported me to actually make that happen. Like, there are certain people who made sure to come in. They were like, hey, I'll make sure to room with you. Because, like, since I had the room, it was more of like, if anybody wanted to room with me, there's these certain prices, there's certain points. It's right next to the the hotel room. So, well, next to the convention hall. So you have that option to walk right next door and you're fine. There weren't a lot of people. Everybody more likely had their own certain groups, and that was fine onto that. But it's more like, just once you're in the cosplay community, everybody's more willing to help. Like, even if they can help a small bit or help a large bit, it was amazing to see all that happen. And true. I was personally like happy that I actually got to go to San Japan. Like, I did have the badge and everything, but I felt like it would have been a lot more time to like wake up and then drive about like 20 minutes to actually get to San Japan, and then waste 30 minutes to actually find parking, and then actually go into San Japan, and then once the day is done, you go home.
Okay. Well, now that was one of the rumors that was going around. That was one of the questions that was asked, and now that we know, we can, thank you for shedding some light on that. Definitely, it's always good to put rumors to rest because you don't want them to. According to James, Dragon Con beats almost every other convention ever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he also James also states that if they're in a bad mood by Sunday, they're not doing a good enough job to begin with. Now, see, I don't necessarily think that's the truth. Remember, conventions this big has a lot of fires to put out. It's not like a smaller convention like Apollo Con or Owl Con or OniCon or Delta H Con or what's another? Oh, Anime Overload. These conventions, they work really well, and they're really good because they're small. They're not massive. Where San Japan is so huge, you just don't have enough manpower, and you have to spread these guys out. You have to work them to death. You got to constantly be on the go, and you really don't get much of a break. And they tell you, it's if you can handle the pressure, it can be a fun experience and a learning experience. But at the same time, a lot of people break under the pressure because they're just not ready for that kind of responsibility. Like, you have to just kind of keep in mind that that's not always the case, that they're not doing a good job. They probably did an amazing job, for ours we know. There was probably some Godzilla level threat going on in the background that we didn't even know about, and they put it out like they rolled in there with Superman with their capes and took care of it.
There was a Godzilla at San Japan, so just know that.
Shout out to Godzilla. He was amazing.
Shout out to Godzilla.
Shout out to Godzilla. Godzilla was amazing, and I would love to get an interview with Godzilla. Okay, well, another rumor that we want to ask you, and this has been going around a little bit. At any point when you were getting your final, when the head staffs were of safety or whoever came to you, they revoked your badge. At any point during that conversation, or at any point at all during the weekend was staff rude to you?
Let's see. No, it was more likely just like a calm morning or so. I do know that, of course, at a certain point there was one of the safety members who gave me more of a glaring look because, of course, since they knew who I was, and from that point I was already wearing a shirt, they were just more like it was just more like a glare just to make sure that they understood that I understood that I have to have this shirt on. But other than that, it was more like a volunteer, so I don't think it was an actual staff member. But the staff was real kind. They could have used better words, of course, not using the word ban, of course. But other than that, I think they were most likely like straightforward. They were honest to that point. They were nice about it. There was not much anything they could have done better on that. Besides, of course, wording, which we spoke about earlier.
All right, sounds like you got one of those power-hungry volunteers, then, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it does seem like that is the number one thing that does happen. This is why if anything, I do know, of course, a lot of volunteers, Nick, yourself included, on that, who, of course, can handle that such information and do know how to, of course, take a nice, strolling way about that without it being too much of a, hey, I have all the power here, listen to me. Like, more like a, hey, this is the kind of rules thing, can you make sure to follow these, please, and thank you. Like, that kind of thing would be, if we had more of that, like, of course, what happened at Akon, because Akon is the exact same way. They do have the same rule. The only difference between that is, with the hotel that they have, they don't really mind the fact that you do not have a shirt on or not. Akon does not really care. They're fine with it regardless.
It gets a little tough for certain cons. I'm wondering what Onicon's policy would be. They're on a beach, after all.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I think Onicon, since they're on a beach, they're a little bit more lenient. But however, with certain other anime conventions at the George R. Brown, as long as you're a female, you can wear whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little specific.
Not in the hotel, but in the place itself, yeah.
Yes.
In the convention hall itself, right.
Right.
I actually got in trouble at the hotel being shirtless once. I was just trying to get to the pool, though. I had nothing to do with the con. I was like,
sir, you can't come out here in that kind of cosplay. What do you mean cosplay? What the hell is that?
Wait, what do you
I had my
mean, sir?
swimsuit on and a towel, and I was like, look, man, I'm going to the pool. I'm on the elevator to the pool. Like, I can't teleport there. I mean, I could put on a shirt, I guess, but it just seems really, I don't know, stupid.
It seems unnecessary if I'm just going to take it off the second I get in there.
Yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous. It seems like a lot more places are getting real tight on their rules like that. And it's a little unfortunate, especially for some of us older generation cosplayers and stuff who grew up with a whole lot of freedom to do whatever the hell we wanted to. And we didn't do anything real stupid, you know. Now we got a lot of dumb people, that's for sure.
That is true. There is a lot in the community nowadays that are taking advantage of certain things.
But God forbid you show a little bit of stomach or something like that. It's like, oh, that's inappropriate for the family. I'm like, yeah, never take your kids to a swimming pool. I mean, Jesus.
Now,
this bugs me so much.
We're gonna talk a little bit more about, and we're gonna get off the subject of you per se, and we're gonna talk about other people. Because I got other testimonies about. I approached other people that I knew for sure did shirtless cosplays during San Japan. Now, I know I'm not going to mention any names, but I had two friends who cosplayed from Overwatch. They were shirtless, but they didn't get any grief for being shirtless because they were wearing like shoulder pads or straps or something that kind of covered the most part of their upper body, where it also covered their nipples. So that does come under the 60%.
Nipples.
That is true. Okay. So then from that point, it becomes more of, just having something that goes over your shoulder that would just cover at least the chest region. It wouldn't worry about the abdomen. So from that, what I think I'm going to do, well, actually what I know I'm going to do now from that point, is I'm just going to mostly, instead of course, having the towel mostly, like, on my arm, I think I'll just wear it around my shoulders. From that point, it's long enough to cover at least...
You get to keep a robe on you.
Like, exactly. Oh. You'd be surprised.
Well, there were a lot of girls walking around. There were a lot of girls during San Japan that were walking around in their bras. Now, I had other friends who had stuff on their shoulders, but their chest area was showing completely, and they did get a lot of grief for being shirtless in San Japan. Now, a lot of people did, because a lot of people are upset at San Japan because they feel like they revoked your badge. They only said something to you, and there were tons of other cosplayers without shirts. And now that's not necessarily the thing. You were kind of the most famous one there without a shirt, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they.
I feel like it was more likely. I wouldn't say it's anything more to make a statement, but I think it's more the popularity of the character more likely brings good and bad attention to it, which is as of why they were more likely, of course, easy to go ahead and quote get on more of my case than they were of any other's cases. Like I said, there was of course the Sailor Boys who did not have a shirt, but of course they had the more neckerchief that did cover, of course, a bit of the abdomen region. There were other cosplayers, like there was a Halucha that had like about two, I'm not sure what they were, but he covered up at least like there was a bit on his shoulders, but there was nothing on the chest region, and he was completely fine onto that, or at least what I'm hearing from that. There was also a Jigglypuff, but enough on to that whole thing. I think, of course, like I said, it's mostly the popularity of the character that brings it to more of a higher region of why they need to have that more patrolled than other cosplays.
Well, maybe we'll talk to San Japan next and see if they'll even be willing to come and talk to us.
I
See what they
doubt
have to
it,
say
because
about that.
they're a big convention now. We're small time. We're small.
Well, I can.
If anything,
I
we
know-
just find an equilibrium on that. Because,
I know
like
the
I said,
owner of the convention. I could shoot him a message and just maybe get a personal thing and see if he'll let me talk about it. But we'll see.
I do
Yeah.
know, but of course, yesterday at the other stream that I was at, they did actually talk to Dave. I'm not sure what they've reported back as of yet. I do know they're going to get back to me onto that. But as of right now, they are trying to find an equilibrium on both, of course, the congoer side and San Japan itself, because it's more likely just the convention hall itself rather than it is San Japan itself.
That
because
part's very true. Should be
yeah.
okay rule.
If you go to Alamo City Comic Con, they're completely fine with it. They have a whole different rule set, and it's at the exact same place. Like, I've been going to Alamo City Comic Con for the 3 years that it was, and I've not been told to put on a shirt whatsoever there.
It
Might
could
be
be.
it.
Like, I think it's more of the rules that they set for San Japan from the convention hall, then it's completely different on another spectrum.
Well,
So I'm not going to get like for San Japan because I like what they're doing. It's one of my favorite conventions. I'll go regardless of what happened on that, and I'll make sure to
Oh, yeah,
follow
yeah.
them.
Of course,
But
I
I
think it was an isolated thing with you.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm
That's what
hearing.
yeah, it's probably more, of course, a little more one-sided on that, but
Yeah.
I'll let that go. It's fine.
and that's one of the
Yeah.
things a lot of people were wondering because of this incident. They thought, oh, snap! Old Spice guy of Texas is definitely not going to go back to San Japan because of the way they treated him, because they banned him. And that's the thing, though. There were a lot of people willing to protest the convention because of the way you were mistreated.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember seeing, besides, of course, there's certain points where I've seen there's going to be a flash mob of Old Spice. There's going to happen. I personally would have loved to see how that would have worked out because I would have been the first one on that, like with pasties on like the chest region to say Spice. I would have been first on that.
There's
Actually,
they make they make like the Obama mask, but they make them of your face, and you put one over your head, and then you go to the march.
Shirt that's just my body, just completely pasted on it, and we just walk into the convention.
You walk in with a
Oh
mask
my.
of yourself, and people are telling you, "Oh, that's the worst Chris Bonnet cosplay I've ever seen."
And they're actually walking past me, and they're saying that to me, but they'll say it to another guy, and they're like, "Oh man, that's a great Old Spice. Oh man, is that the guy?" And I'm just like,
Oh my.
What?
Well, like,
Oh,
did you
jeez.
expect it? Give me a second. I'm sorry. When this happened on Sunday, did you expect it to explode, to have an impact the way it did?
not even close. I personally thought it was like, oh well, I guess I'm banned from that convention. I guess I'll find something else to go on from that point. And from that point, once I had posted it, I've never seen so many people not only show up, but like I've never seen so many people want to join in onto that. Within like the past 3 days, I had 87 new friend requests. And I can tell you guys right now from that point, I've never like sit in a point where I've just said,
"This is good.
Wow.
Got some infamy."
Yeah. It's like, wow.
All right, guys, hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna pause y'all there for 1 second. 1 second, please.
All right, 1 second.
Did you hear that? This thirsty moment is brought to you by Dr. Pepper. For all of you thirsty motherfuckers out there, drink a Dr. Pepper.
Well, Dr. Pepper,
officially sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Not sponsored by.
No, I received a 12-pack in the mail.
12-pack.
Right, let's see. I did, like I was saying, I did not personally expect all of this to happen, not at once. Like, once one of my cosplay friends decided to post the whole entire controversy that happened for Old Spice Guy on KSAT 12, that's when things started getting a little more out of my control. That's when I just had to like watch that happen, watch the hashtags go on through from that point. And then from that point, once I know the next like 2 days everything turned out completely fine from that, we had to make a new hashtag to let everybody know, because everybody was still on the Justice for Old Spice Guy, so I totally understand onto that. But long live Old Spice Guy. That's actually a new hashtag. So hashtag.
We do have some comments that I want to bring up. Edgar said I was. I don't know. Edgar speaks gibberish sometimes. I was rode. You couldn't wear a towel over. Okay, Alex said this. There is a version of Old Spice Guy that wears a sweater tied over his shoulders.
There is. I recall that.
And
I recall that as well.
Mr. Tyler, hashtag free the nipple.
Free the nipple.
Hashtag free the nipple. I would see this.
So you are gaining some buzz, man. You are a very popular cosplayer. You are very loved in the community. The people have come forward and they have shared their love. And San Japan does know about what happened to you. I approached their public relations and he actually acknowledged you and said he would give us a statement. Now, he gave the San Japan what the lawyers want them to release statement. But man, there is so much going on for you, dude. It's amazing. Hashtags, videos, movements, picket signs. I don't know if that's true or not. There's so much going on for you, man, and it's amazing because San Japan does acknowledge this. They know this is a thing, and they came forward and said, no, you are not banned. And that's the biggest thing for them to come forward and say, guess what? This guy is not banned. Please, no one get upset at us. No one protest us. No one throw bricks at our windows. He is not banned.
Right. And that's one of the things that I personally love about the cosplay community, when people can rally behind something that they personally love. Like, I'm personally a one that loves, of course, like body positivity. I'm on plus with that 100%. So if you are positive about that, that's great. But I personally did not see myself as becoming one of those things that people would protest for. Like, I knew that I was just like a regular old Joe who happened to have like a secret alter ego, of course, Old Spice Guy, and I wanted to like keep it at that. But somehow when you get both the lives intertwined, that becomes a mountain of, what is the word I'm looking for? A mountain of fun. Let's put it as fun. Fun sounds like the best way to put that. You get a mountain of fun that you have that you now have to work with.
Well, no, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We are actually running out of time.
Oh my!
We've been here for a while, actually.
It's just having fun. Hello there, viewers. I hope to give you a video at some point in time, of course, with the new Old Spice. So please make sure to check out Illuminati for, of course, your new Old Spice Hyrule video.
And I'm
sorry that I could not do that.
And I was just about to ask you if you wanted to say anything to the audience that were listening before we can. Let's look at the comments and see if anyone posted anything brand new. Let's see.
fun. I can do a small little video for everybody here who's listening to the show.
Well, if you're willing to
final
be a part of
questions?
Geeks 5 Ever, not a live broadcast, but we can do a pre-recorded podcast. If you're willing to come back and be a part of Geeks 5 Ever, we're more than welcome to have you, man, because, you know, we've got to talk to you. We got to know you a little. You're an outstanding guy. You're a really great guy. You're a great cosplayer. I've seen some of your pictures. You're really good. You got the look. You're in shape. People love you. You're popular. You're charismatic.
Ah, yes. Chris. Sorry.
I can't wait to bring you all new Sensible Spice. That will be my number one thing. I just hope that, of course, you will all love the new Sensible Spice I'll bring you.
You know what
I
you need to
will
do?
smell
You need to
you.
cosplay a bottle of Old Spice and have your head sticking out and be like, San Japan, I'm back.
I just need to make a giant box of like a box of Old Spice, and have somebody push me into the convention. And the second that they see me, I will walk out of it and be like, "Hello, San Japan. I have returned. It is good to see you." And just walk through, pick up my badge, and call that a day.
I want to walk with you. I want to be your censor. I just want to keep my hands covered. Like,
I will put on my bar of soap cosplay and I will walk around with you.
Don't worry, there will be pasties on my body that say Old Spice. We will make sure of that. That will be number one thing.
We'll make you a t-shirt of pasties.
protection. Good.
I would love nothing more than a t-shirt. That would be great. I wouldn't even know how to go about that.
Nick, do you have anything to say before we come to a close?
No, to be honest, you summed it up for me. But think about that. I want to be your censor. I'll walk around with you. It'll be great. I think it was good.
I'm
We covered all
gonna
the good
walk
stuff.
around as
Glad-
your I'm gonna walk around as your token Mexican. Whenever security's be like, "Hey man, you need a shirt," I'll be like, "Hey man, no hablo inglés." Well,
Hey, you're handling it
I
pretty
don't
well.
know Spanish and say it in Rargolo.
Jesus.
once again, I want to thank you again, Chris, for being on this broadcast. This is the first time we did it live. We tried it before. We couldn't get the audio to work, so this is an impromptu thing that we have set up. It's really ghetto, actually. It's a microphone sitting next to a speaker, and we're doing Skype over my cell phone while I'm monitoring everything on the laptop. Now, I want to thank you very much for being on the podcast. I know you're a very busy man, especially you had a lot of things going on for you today. I know you're going to be on a lot of other podcasts, but we'd be more than happy to have you back with Geeks 5 Ever and talk a little bit more about yourself and talk about the Old Spice cosplay and help promote you as a cosplayer, because that's what Geeks 5 Ever is about. We're here to promote members of the community. We're here to help the community for the next generation of cosplayers that want to come forth and start cosplaying or start going to these conventions, whether it be anime or Comic-Con. So once again, I know I keep saying this, thank you very much for being on the on the show.
Of course, no problem at all, sir.
Very glad to have you.
And Nick, I want to thank you once again for agreeing to co-host with me today because I had nobody.
Oh, it's fine, man. Anytime.
Yeah,
We're not
anytime, man. And we
college.
also do a podcast, Chris. It's called Shit Talk. Now, we've been trying to record it. It's literally where we all just sit there over Skype and talk shit about random subjects.
It's the best.
It is. It really
Doesn't
is.
seem like my cup of tea, but why not? Take a sip.
Hey, man, everyone's
Wow,
got
you
something
know-
they want to complain about.
If you find out it's poison, just finish the whole glass. You may as well.
All right.
Yeah, look, finish. Exactly. All right,
All
then.
right.
All right.
I think we're ready.
All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you, everyone, for listening to this broadcast. We had a lot of problems earlier in the day where we tried to do the broadcast, but no one could hear our guests, and we had to redo it. I want to thank everyone, all of our listeners, all the people that posted comments. We tried to acknowledge everyone and acknowledge their comments. Unfortunately, we were trying to also acknowledge our guests. I also want to acknowledge all the people that liked us, that shared the video, that like Geeks 5 Ever. Remember to hit the like button for Geeks 5 Ever. Check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Geeks5Ever. Check out our Instagram, our Patreon. We have a website now. We have a website, Geeks5Ever.com. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this live broadcast. Thank you, everyone that even shared us, checked us out, liked us, posted a comment. Thank you. This is a Geeks 5 Ever are members of the community that work for the community. Thank you, everyone. And I want to stay classy.